Hello everybody, welcome back. My name is Eric, and today I just got sent this video from a friend. They asked me, they said, what do you think about this video from a guy called Warren Redlich? I've never heard of him. He's got a pretty decent sized following on YouTube, and he made a video about NIO battery swap. So I just watched it, and I have a quick reaction is that I want to make a little response to it, because my perspective is that he's a little bit misinformed at the very least, or willfully misrepresenting information. What we're gonna do is watch the video. I'm not gonna watch the whole thing with you. You can watch it if you want. I'm just gonna go through a couple points that I think he's wrong. If you don't know, I lived in China for a very long time. I owned a NIO. It was an EC6, and I really liked the car. I really liked NIO service, and I really liked battery swap. And I sold my NIO because I left China. But I'm still following NIO and electric cars, and here we go. Let's just watch this and see what we can correct here.
It's an idea, it's not a stupid idea, but fundamentally it doesn't really work.
Okay, first of all, he says battery swap fundamentally doesn't really work. NIO's done millions and millions and millions of battery swaps in China. It worked flawlessly every time I got my battery swapped in China, so I don't really even buy his premise here. I haven't watched his original video about why it's stupid, but let's keep going. Let's go!
One of the pitches that NIO made for its battery swap station, and one of the pitches that NIO fans make for the battery swap station is, it only takes up the space that 2 superchargers take up.
I've never once seen that claim by anybody. That's insane to me that anybody would make that claim. I think he's misread somewhere or seen people that don't understand battery swap. But it takes about 3 to 4 parking spaces, which would be the equivalent of 3 to 4 supercharger spaces.
And then you have the area in the front. You have the area where you see the little arrow lines or the little lines, and you're going to see him using that. So that's another 3 or 4 parking spaces.
And then he says it takes up 3 to 4 parking spaces in front of the power swap station, which the car is not just going to warp there or teleport there, right? Just like in a supercharger station, there's a road in front of your parking space where you have to pull forward and then back in. This, I don't know, if this counts against NIO, it obviously should also count against Tesla. So 8 supercharger spaces would also take 16 parking space equivalents, right? Because you have to have the space in front of the car. So already I don't know what he's thinking.
What you're really seeing is a NIO battery swap system takes up at least 4 supercharger spaces and maybe 8. So in the same space that you have, the point is in the same space that you have this NIO battery swap station, you could basically have 8 superchargers.
So the only way that makes sense, in my opinion, is if all the Tesla superchargers are pull-through chargers, pull-through stations, not back in, not standard parking spaces. And in all the time I've driven in America and charged a Tesla, I've never seen one like that. So again, I don't know where he's coming from. I guess theoretically you could put 8 superchargers in the same space that the supercharger and the space in front of the supercharger takes up if you line them up all perfectly and it was all pull through, but I've never seen that. So
comparing it to 2 superchargers is misleading.
So speaking of misleading,
one of the challenges that NIO faces is their current battery swap station requires a human operator.
Okay, not true. In China is already a lot of battery swap stations that are fully automated. I've experienced them myself. They're not all fully automated, of course. There are still people working at a lot of the battery swap stations. The fully automated ones were a pilot program, and since I left China, I don't know if they're still in operation. But of course, yes, the goal is to be fully automated. And as of 3 or 4 months ago when I was still in China, there were quite a few in Shenzhen that were already fully automated.
But this idea that it's a more efficient method than superchargers, if you got to have a full-time employee working, was he working 24/7? Do you have to have somebody, because superchargers work 24/7.
Yes, if it's open 24/7 and it is a fully staffed station, it will have staff 24/7, obviously. In China, usually they sleep there. There's a space for them to sleep if it is a 24/7 station, which again, most of them are. And that does suck. I agree with him there. That sucks to have people there at a charging infrastructure 24/7. But again, as they continually advance the technology, there's going to be less need for that. There's going to be fully automated swap stations. But I do agree with him there. I give him that.
You're just beginning to see the complexity in NIO's battery swap system, the swap station system. You have to do a lot of stuff on this. But when you go to a Tesla supercharger,
Okay, so this is, again, just a really basic fundamental misunderstanding of how this works. just like in a Tesla, if you want to like precondition your battery before you drive to a Tesla supercharger station, like you're gonna go into your car's operating system and you're gonna type in where you wanna go, right? I wanna go to the supercharger. And then I push navigate, and then my car will precondition on its way there, right? So I don't know what Bjorn is doing in his original video, but in a NIO, like if I want to go swap my battery, I put in the navigation to the battery swap station, I push the button, and it automatically puts me in a queue to charge my battery or swap my battery when I get there. I don't have to do anything more than I would in a Tesla. Just like in a Tesla, I just navigate to the place, and it automatically puts you into the queue. When you arrive there, if there's nobody in line, it automatically says it's your turn. You don't have to do literally anything. You do nothing. You just pull in, you pull in front of the station, you back in, the car backs in automatically, the car drives itself. It's less than a Tesla. So really, really fundamental misunderstanding, and it could be because of Bjorn's video, but if this guy wants to make content about this, he probably should try to understand more about how it actually works.
NIO's battery swap, there's a lot of stuff you have to do in the car to make it work. And this is not as good of a user experience as pulling up to a supercharger, plugging in, and walking away.
Again, wrong. You don't have to do anything in the car to make it work. It just works. It works, I would argue, just as good as Tesla, if not better. Like he's saying, you can do it on your phone on a Tesla. With your NIO, the app, I do have a video comparing the two apps. The NIO app is, I would argue, better. I've used them both quite extensively. You can do more. On my phone, I can see how many people are waiting in line to charge or swap their battery. I can see when is the peak hours for battery swapping. I can see all the different swaps in the area. There's tons of information. On my phone, I can just click literally in the app, navigate to wherever I want to go, which is something that Tesla can't even do in their app. You have to like go into Google Maps or whatever and then send to the app. It's way more convoluted. So again, this is just a little bit misleading misunderstanding, just fundamental. He doesn't really know how it works and he's commenting on it.
With NIO, they have to have extra batteries that can't go into vehicles because they've got to stay in the battery swap station. So,
okay, so I don't really know or necessarily care about how many extra batteries there are. I've seen some people try to do the math with how many stations there are and how many cars have been sold. There's something like 5% more batteries made or produced than cars that have been sold. To me, that as a customer, that doesn't really matter. I'd rather there be more batteries available for me always when I want one. But as a business, then that's something I'm not really covering on this video. I don't know how NIO necessarily justifies it from an expense or capital expenditure point of view. Not really my business. I'm looking at this video as a customer.
Are you starting to see the complexity of the system? You got to hit this button on the screen. You got to check off this box on the screen. You got to hit this. Then you got to tell it. Then you got to wait. Then it tells you something else. And we're only halfway through the software part of it.
Again, I don't understand. Step after step after step. You literally navigate to the place, push one button. In Norway, apparently it's a few more buttons, but you push one button in China, and then you navigate to the place. You drive in front of the swap station, and the car parks itself. Now, I've seen a lot of people struggle with backing in their cars in Tesla superchargers or in generic charging stations in China. So I would really argue that having the car do it for you, back you into the station, that's easier. But again, that's just my opinion.
More and more that you have to do. You have to shift into reverse. You have to shift into drive. You have to do all these things.
Okay, you don't have to shift into drive and shift into reverse. Again, you pull into the space, into the little rectangle on the ground, and you push the button that says like back in or whatever. So I guess that is the second button, and it backs in for you. I don't know why it's so complicated here for him. I think the point here is he was in park, and obviously you can't be in park. You have to be in a drive mode.
Proponents of the NIO swap system will try to minimize the amount of time that it takes and the amount of hassle that it takes.
Okay, there's literally like no hassle. It's all automated. You automatically put in the queue, automatically park, it automatically swaps your battery. I don't know how that's minimizing the amount of hassle. It's just how much hassle there is. There's no hassle. It's super easy. It's kind of like mind-boggling to me that it's trying to make it seem like there's a hassle involved. It's a lot more hassle. Again, it's not a hassle for me. I'm capable of like getting out of my car and plugging in a charger in a Tesla. but that would be more hassle to me. I have to park the car myself. I have to make sure it's ready to be preconditioning the battery. Then I have to get out. I have to open the flap. I have to push the thing in the hole. Then I have to make sure it's charging, and then I have to go walk and go pee. Oh, it's such a hassle. I don't know. It's a ridiculous video.
In making things for consumers is you want to make it as simple as possible, and this does not seem simple to me.
It does not seem simple to him, but there's literally like millions upon millions and millions of battery swaps that have happened in China. I know a lot of NIO owners. I've swapped my battery a lot of times. I've never heard anybody complain about it being difficult or complex in any way. Like, I really fail to understand this man. But you know, if you watch my videos at all, if you've seen them, if you've seen my interviews with other NIO owners or things I've done like just with other NIO owners, not making content for YouTube, but like talking to NIO owners, we all love battery swap. It's the best. We're so happy and lucky we have battery swap as opposed to having to go and charge our cars. You know, in China, a lot of people, they can't charge at home necessarily. They live in an apartment. They live in a really dense community. There's lots of EVs in China. So going and charging your car and, you know, waiting in line maybe, and then having to charge for 20 or 30 minutes, that's a lot more of a hassle than literally pushing 2 buttons and having the car do everything. So I see one way being more simple. You know, if you can charge at home, you know, you can charge every night. That's obviously more simple. But public charging versus battery swapping, from my experience, battery swapping is much more simple.
Get out of the car, walk away, and the car charges itself. No, you have to stay in the car. You have to keep an eye on the car. You don't get to leave the car.
He says, why can't you get out of the car? Why is it so complicated? So once you're in the battery swap station, you can get out of the car. That's perfectly okay. The reason why you have to push another button to start the battery swap is probably just to confirm you're ready. Like if you do want to get out of the car, you probably should do it before the ground literally moves beneath the car and they start moving batteries around and machinery is happening. I would imagine that probably for liability reasons, maybe in Norway, or maybe when it comes to America eventually if it does, they might not want you out of the car while there's like moving parts. In China, it's no problem, you can get out of the car, push the button, and then things start happening. You know, it just confirms you're ready, which I think makes sense. You don't want like a hole opening up underneath you and then try to get out of the car. So if you want to get out of the car, no problem in China. Anyway, I don't know about Norway, so I'm not going to comment on it.
So you can see by Bjorn's count, it was just over 6 minutes. And let's be charitable and say they're going to improve their system and they're going to get it down to 5 minutes.
Bjorn just swapped his battery in 6 minutes and 6 seconds, which is about how long it takes in China as well. You can watch my timing videos, both Gen 1 and Gen 2 battery swap stations on my channel. However, this guy's funny again. He said, oh, I can back my car into the Tesla station in 10 or 15 seconds. Bjorn is starting his timer from when he's backing it in and it takes a whole minute. But overall, it still only takes Bjorn 6 minutes and 6 seconds to swap his battery. And that can be from 0% or 1% or 5% all the way up to 93%, which is what they charge the batteries to in China. He's like, oh, maybe they can get it shorter and quicker, from 6 minutes down to 5. Yeah, maybe they can, but from pulling up to a Tesla supercharger and then starting to back in and then getting out and plugging your car in, that's also at least probably 30 seconds. In the next 5.5 minutes, are you gonna be able to get your car from 5% to 90%? I don't think so. Maybe 5% to 50%. Like he's acting like 5 minutes is a big deal. I don't know. I don't get it.
The biggest challenge for NIO's swap system is that it's too expensive.
Okay, he says it's too expensive. I don't know the price. I've seen arguments and people online say the swap station in China, each one costs about $250,000. I personally don't know, so I don't really have much to comment on that.
But superchargers, 8 superchargers can easily charge 16 vehicles. It's average 20 minutes.
Okay, he says 8 superchargers can charge 16 Teslas in an hour. I would argue that that's not going to be to 90% or 93%, which is what NIO does. But I'd also argue that 8 superchargers takes up twice as much space as one swap station. One swap station can do 12 or 13 cars in 1 hour. And that's fully charged to 90+%. So if you take up the exact same amount of space as, one NIO swap station, that would be, let's say, four superchargers. That's going to be, according to his math, 8 cars fully charged up in 1 hour. So again, I would say they're not going to be fully charged up, but that's fewer than NIO can do. So he's not comparing apples to apples. He's making like a weird comparison. Like, but again, he does think the space in front of the swap station counts against NIO, but doesn't count against Tesla. So
Imagine when they get loaded with a lot of cars. And now you got to wait 6 minutes for every car plus a little bit.
okay, he says, imagine when they get loaded with a lot of cars. A couple more misunderstandings here. So if there is a lot of cars, there's a line. What you do with your NIO, at least again in China, is you can just park it in the parking spot and you're in line. You don't have to wait there. Like, I've driven my NIO in China where I haven't had a swap station available and I've had to line up to charge my car. I've been here in America just recently. Me and my mom were driving her Tesla, and not only was there a line at one of the Tesla superchargers, there was a line on each side, right? There was one car from that way, one car from that way. There's no organization on how this is going to work when there are a lot of cars lined up and wanting to charge. That adds a lot of complexity and problems for Tesla customers that isn't even addressed at all. Some places there's only one way in, one way out. Maybe everybody knows where to line up. So that'll be fixed. That'll be just naturally a problem that is solved naturally, right? But so with NIO, if there's a long line, I'm automatically placed in the queue when I'm near the station. I can just park my car. If you're one of the people that says, oh, swapping, you can't go out and use the bathroom or what, blah, 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 can't get food. Okay, well, if there's a queue, if I'm third in line, if I want, I can just park my car, leave, go to the bathroom, go get some food. When it's my turn, NIO does it where you can opt into a phone call, you can get a notification on your phone with the app. Basically what I'm saying is it's easier, it's more streamlined. You don't have to worry about like, if the station's full, what am I gonna do? You just leave your car there, or you sit in your car if you want. You can do whatever you want. It's more flexible, a lot easier to figure out what you wanna do personally. Whereas with Tesla, if there's a line, you gotta sit in line because the car doesn't make a queue for you about when you're gonna go to the next charger. It doesn't tell you who's there first. Nothing like that happens. And as Tesla gets more and more cars on the road and not enough infrastructure, there's gonna be longer and longer lines and more people vying for those spots. We've already seen it out here on the West Coast. Okay, so if there's 3 cars in line, he says, and you gotta wait 20 minutes before it's your turn, even then, after you swap your car, that's 25 minutes. I still went from maybe 5% or 3% battery to 93% battery in 25 minutes, which is still faster than you're gonna get in most Teslas from my experience. You're not gonna get up to 90% in 25 minutes. Again, I don't quite get the complaint because it's still faster. Of course, battery technology will improve, speeds will improve. Based on where we are now, one is clearly more convenient for the consumer and easier for the consumer, and it's not Tesla.
There's usually an empty slot.
Sometimes there's an empty slot. Most of the time there's an empty slot, but there are some times you have to wait in line. And I've seen plenty of people complaining in Los Angeles especially about waiting in line for Tesla chargers for a long, long, long time. I've also seen in China, Tesla superchargers, people waiting in line for a long, long, long time because there are a lot of EVs and a lot of Teslas on the road. So maybe in his experience, he lives in, I don't know, rural America or something, I'm not sure. But I know he says in the video that he traveled to Florida one time. So maybe the infrastructure is better or there's fewer EVs out there, fewer Teslas. But in a country with a lot of EVs, like let's say China, battery swapping is just so much more convenient because it's all automatic. You're queued up automatically. You know when you can go, you know when you shouldn't go. It's just so much better than having to rock up to an EV charger, a fast charger, supercharger, and you see 20 cars ahead of you and you're like, oh crap, now what do I do, right? I gotta sit in this line in my car. I don't know, his argument's fundamentally flawed here.
That much better of an experience. And Tesla will tell you, hey, this supercharger's busy, and they'll reroute you to a different supercharger. So Tesla's much more advanced on the software of getting you there, and maybe NIO will get there, but they're not there yet. So
I just want to re-record this part to be clear on what I'm saying here is, he says that Tesla's more advanced than NIO. They'll reroute you to a different charger, all this sort of stuff. From my experience, NIO is at least equal to Tesla, if not better in this capacity. You can, anytime you want, you can see how busy the charger is currently, how busy the charger has been in the past week, in the past 24 hours as well. You can have the data of battery swaps. All that stuff is in your phone anytime you want it, and you can very easily reroute to different battery swap stations, all that stuff. So I don't know where he gets the idea that NIO can't do this. I would argue NIO is better in this regard, or at least equal. So he's lost the plot. Or he just hasn't looked into it, which is probably more concerning considering he's making a video and trying to be an authority on the subject.
like 75 kilowatt hour packs. But what if you had 5 different battery pack sizes?
Okay, so what about if battery sizes are different? What if there's a 60 kilowatt hour, an 80 kilowatt hour, blah, blah, blah. Okay, NIO right now they have 70, 75, 84, and 100 kilowatt hour packs in China. They all fit in a NIO, so it's not a big deal apparently for NIO engineers.
There's going to be moments when there's 5 people waiting, and that's going to be a nightmare. And there's going to be video. This is coming.
Okay, he says if 10 people are waiting, you're gonna wait an hour. So if 10 people are waiting, you know what you can do? You can just go charge your battery like a normal Tesla or any other EV. You can just charge it up. Why would you wait for an hour to swap your battery if that was the case? And if there are stations where there's 10 people lined up, I would assume that just like in China, in Norway or wherever, NIO will add more infrastructure because they're a really good company. They have really built a lot of infrastructure, not just swap stations, but also fast chargers and also destination chargers. I don't know, his like logic breaks down after like even thinking about anything for like a split second.
And then what if a swap station goes down? If you have 8 superchargers and one's not working, you still got 7 working superchargers. You got one.
What if a swap station goes down? What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? You just charge your car.
Whole bunch of problems. So I stand by my position that battery swap, it's
Okay, he says whole bunch of problems. He stands by his position. Whole bunch of problems that you can really, really think through just with any modicum of thought, of problem solving skills, and you could figure out the solution to these problems. But he really obviously doesn't want to figure out the answer to these problems because based on just this one video, he really likes his Tesla, which is perfectly okay. I like Tesla too. I enjoy my mom's Tesla, it's good. You can watch my video. I was having a great time driving my cousin's Model S the other day. Teslas are great cars. I really enjoy Teslas. NIO also makes great cars. I guess for me, the real big issue I have with this video, again, I've never seen any of his other videos, but my impression of him is that he has a really tough time like thinking outside his own little box. Like I live in, I don't know, rural Texas or wherever he said, and I have a lot of EV chargers available, superchargers available, and it's, you know, I can charge at home most likely, and this is my experience, and so I don't think any other experience is necessarily valid because this is my experience and this is how I live. But you know, there's a lot of people that live in really dense urban environments. There's a lot of people who want an EV and can't charge at home. There's a lot of people that are smart enough to just push a button and have the car back in and charge for them or swap the battery for them. To him, it's difficult and complex and scary. You know, for a lot of people in this world, different things are challenging to them. They're afraid of something that's new. And that's just my impression of him, is he's afraid of you know, looking outside his own box and understanding that other people exist. And maybe that's not the way I should look at it. Maybe I'm misunderstanding where he's coming from. But just based on this video, he's like, because it wouldn't necessarily work for me, it's stupid. And I think that's really a poor mindset to have. I really, really love my NIO. I really love battery swapping. Most NIO customers love battery swapping. But we're also well aware that we can also charge our car. We can fast charge it. And so there's multiple options. And for him, he's like, there's only one way to do it. It's the Tesla way. And fine, whatever. If he wants to do that, that's up to him. But I don't think it makes him any sort of authority on NIO or battery swapping, or if it's stupid or not stupid, because he literally has no idea. So
go ahead, fire away. You fired away on the last one, fire away on this one. I hope you actually watch the video before you comment.
Okay, so one more thing right here at the end I just want to say. He says people comment without watching the video. And I do agree, that happens to me all the time. I don't have that many views, but a lot of times people obviously didn't watch the video. And that's a big problem everywhere. But I do think it's kind of funny, in his video here, he says people comment without watching the video, but he's obviously making a video without understanding NIO. So there's not much difference there really. So anyway, if you watch this whole video, if you're a fan of his, tell me where I'm wrong, tell me I'm an idiot, you know, let me know what my problem is. I'm a moron. So I fully embrace that and accept that. At least I can understand how to push a button and let the car back in and swap the battery, and not find it to be horribly complex. So I don't know. That just makes me laugh that it's complicated for him. So anyway, thank you for watching, and if you enjoyed it, I guess you know, go have a Mountain Dew and take a walk, or like it and subscribe, whatever you want to do. You know me, I'm all support you in any of your dreams and endeavors and wishes, and I hope you're satisfied and happy and fulfilled with life. So bye-bye.